Now that we have added the view here, let's go back to our assets folder, and in section 7 we have the manage authors. So let me copy everything from there and paste everything right here. Now this is all ASP.NET Core stuff, so I do not spend much time with the input box drop downs, but I want to show you two things. In this page we have two forms. The first form has action manage authors and the second form has remove authors. Whenever you are adding a new author, you will be calling the post action for manage authors. In here we have the author ID and the book ID is in the hidden field. So if we go to book controller, right here we can add the new action method. It will be HTTP post and we'll call this public action result manage authors. What will be the parameter? That will be book author view model, and we'll call this book author view model. In here we'll just have an if condition to check if the book author view model dot book author dot book ID as well as author ID, both of them should not be 0. So we'll check first that one, and then we have the author ID. If both of them are not 0, then let's add that inside the book author. So _db.bookauthors, and we will add it right there. Using our book author view model, we have both of the fields inside book author. And then we'll save the changes. After that, we will redirect back to the manage authors. So we'll say return redirect to action, and we want to redirect to the name of, we will say manage authors. And when we redirect, if you take a look at manage author, we need the ID of the book. So we need to pass that ID here. So we will say new, and we will say at ID is equal to book author view model dot book author dot book ID. That will assign the ID as the parameter. Once you make this change, let's run the application and see if we can associate a new author to any of the existing book. For that we will have to go to book, and let's try out the first book, that's Bubbles. We'll go to the author. Let's try to associate our Ben Spark and hit the add association. Great, as soon as you do that, you see that it has been associated here, and also in the drop down, now you do not see Ben Spark anymore. Let's go back to our database to see how things look. In here, if we go to the book authors, we will see one record, and that is we just have the book ID with the author ID association. Let's associate one more author here. So let's add Jess here, and let's also add Jill. Perfect. So we have 3 entries here. If we go back and refresh, you see the book ID is the same, but authors are different here. That being said, let's now work on removing any of the associated authors. So for that, as we know before, if we switch back to the project, inside the manage author, we have another form action, which is remove authors, and in that we have the button submit. So we can just code that inside right here. We will just copy this one, paste it one more time. Rather than manage author, this will be remove authors. And in remove authors, if you go to the right, we are passing a parameter author ID with the author ID. The book ID is in the hidden field, so we can extract both of them. So right here we can get author ID, and book ID will already be present because it is in the hidden field. Now we also need the book, so right here we can get the book author view model. Let's call this book author view model. So based on the author ID and book ID inside the book author view model, let's extract the book author. So we'll say book author, let's call it book author is equal to _db dot book authors, and we'll do dot first.default. Here we're gonna say u goes to u dot author ID is equal to the author ID, and we will add u dot book ID. That will be inside book author view model. Dot we have the book dot book underscore ID. Based on that, we'll retrieve the entity and then we'll remove it. So let me remove these things. We'll say underscore db dot book authors dot remove, and we want to remove the book author. We'll save the changes, so underscore db dot save changes, and we'll redirect back to the manage authors. Now the ID of the book, we need to save it because once we remove this, it will be gone. So right here, we'll say integer book ID is equal to, and let me cut this, paste it here, and we'll just use book ID. We'll use the same book ID to redirect. That looks good. Let's run this application and give that a try. This time let me go to some other book and associate new authors. So I'll go to the spider part one and I'll associate 3 authors here. Now if we switch back to database before we start removing and refresh, you can see many-to-many relation. Author ID 4 has 2 books associated and book ID 2 has 3 authors associated. So we can see that live here. And now let's try to remove this. You can see it is removed and that option will be available again in the authors to add. We can remove it one more time. We'll go to database and it's updating as expected. So with this we can see our many-to-many relation live, and based on that, last thing that I want is if we go to our authors, not author, if we go to book, I want to display all of the authors right here if there are more than one or if they are empty. Let's take a look at that in the next video.